Hi there, welcome back to the channel. So, I just got my amp back from Tim from American Guitar Boutique, whom I mentioned in the How to Spin It video. And they did a great job of fixing the amp. So, I've been so excited about getting that Fender Deluxe amp back that I was like, you know what? I got to get a reverb pedal. But I wanted spring reverb, right? Not digital. Nothing against digital, I may end up with one. But I knew that I was going to want that spring reverb because I originally wanted the standalone Fender unit. I've decided to just put that on hold right now because the more I look into it, the more I realize it's kind of a project of its own. They're really expensive. They've gone way up in price, even the reissue. I used to could find those for like $400 or $500. I didn't find anything under $1,000 as far as those standalone units go. And if you want a vintage one, you're looking at $1,500 up to $2,000 and beyond. So I thought, you know what, for size, ergonomics, you know, maybe I should go for a pedal, but I actually wanted the springs in there. That's my fixation right now. And I thought about doing a DIY thing because basically all that a reverb spring unit is, the tank, is the actual tank by Accutronics, Belden, Mod, I believe, does them now. There's two transducers that are attached to these long springs, either 2 or 3 springs. And one side, when it gets a signal, and basically the signal is amplified by a very simple circuit, could be tube driven, could be JFETs, whatever, and it's basically like a phono preamp. It's only elevating the signal by a little bit. You know, we got millivolts coming in, it's elevating it a little bit just to get those springs turning. So the voltage causes the transducers. One side turns the spring like this way, back and forth, and the other side kind of pulls on it. And that creates that awesome sound that we all love. You hear it in surf music, and anytime somebody turns their reverb way up and kind of slaps their guitar, you can hear that kind of dripping noise. So I wanted to do that. I thought about building it myself, but I also want to focus on music right now. I'm trying to finish, I've got to write 5 songs and record them on my Zoom, and I've been making these videos to help people, you know, pick up the stuff I've learned, and I've been learning stuff from people telling me things. It's a really cool way, you know, a two-way street. So anyway, I'm going to go through and show you all the pedals I looked at. I decided against the Fender Reverb Unit, even though I know I'll eventually get one, just because I don't want to have to worry about hum. I don't want a big unit. I don't have the money to allocate to that right now. It's just too much for a pedal, or too much for reverb, you know, because I think I can get really close from watching YouTube videos. I think I can get really close with one of these pedals, you know, where it would be non-discernible compared to like a reverb unit, because we're talking essentially the same circuit, you know, being accomplished outside of using tubes. Okay, so the first one that I sort of stumbled into after doing a lot of searching and trying to do DIY and what have you, is this Anna Sounds Laban. And there's several Anna Sounds, and basically what he's done is he's made a analog circuit, put it in a pedal, and it looks really nice too. He's got like a nice kind of like, you know, the art that he's used. I don't know if that's a sticker or what, or if it's like a veneer of wood. It looks really cool. I'm guessing it's like a sticker. But anyway, he's got this pedal here, and then you come out of the pedal, you can see the connections, the input, output, but you come out of the pedal into this reverb tank. So you go out of it with a connection that splits, and then it goes into the tank, you know, to hit those transducers and get those springs turning. So I think it's really cool. It looks awesome. It's $300. It's $250 for one of them. There's a you can buy the tank separately, and they've got a couple different bundles. They've got the Le Brute, they've got the Element, and I'm assuming this one's got 3 springs. I've seen others that have 2, and basically the 2-spring method is the most like Fender. That's what they use. 3 springs is a little, I think, a little more muted. You don't get so much of that springy tone. So the 3 springs is more of kind of a hi-fi sound, whereas the 2 springs is more of that drippy kind of like slapback sound. So I thought this thing looked really cool, and it was kind of what I envisioned building, like some kind of pedal, you know, that would drive the board, that would drive the transducers that are in the tank. So I was thinking along those lines, but the more I listened to it on eBay, the more I sort of like listened to links with headphones on and stuff, the more it started having a tone that I did not like. And I don't want to say that I'm judging everything on, based on YouTube videos, but hey, that's what we do here, right? And I think that it was a pretty good way, a pretty good indicator of what, I was hearing. And what I was hearing was more of a fuzzy tone, like more of a lo-fi kind of, like almost like AM radio versus hi-fi tone. It had like a fuzzy edge to it, almost like it was a fuzz pedal of its own. So it may be that the circuit is designed for more of a radical sound, but for me, I just sort of immediately eliminated it because my ears just weren't liking that sound, just for me. Someone else may be looking for exactly that, and it looks well constructed and good, but I've officially eliminated it from consideration for me, just because the sound of it was not exactly, what I was looking for. So the next one I sort of looked at. Let me see what else I have on here. I've got a couple different videos. This was this White Well by Crazy Tube Circuits. And what's cool about this White Well, and this is very well reviewed on YouTube as well, what's cool about this White Well is that one side's a tremolo, one side's a reverb. The tremolo sounds really good. But the reverb, for me, I don't know why exactly, and it's a 3-spring reverb tank, so that means that you're going to get maybe a little less of that boingy, perhaps. I don't know. You'd have to experiment with it to know for sure. But typically the 2 springs gives you the more radical drip tone, and the 3 springs is a little more controlled. But once again, after listening to a lot of samples of this particular pedal, the White Well, I just ultimately, there was something in I think in this one was the upper mids, that just sounded a little fizzy, sort of like the Anna sounds. And I guess maybe they're going for like a 60s surf kind of like vibe. A lot of these pedals are going for that. And that would be what, a lot of people would want. For whatever reason, it didn't click with my ears. I thought it was pretty good and, a potential one. But it just, I don't know. Let me go back and see what it costs. I forgot to look at the video on that. Let me just see what that one costs. That one's $329. Okay, so that's a little bit more on the expensive side as far as a pedal goes. I mean, good pedals cost a lot of money, and you're getting 2-in-1, and it has a spring, and it's got a big enclosure, blah blah blah. Nice artwork too, but that's more on the expensive edge for sure. $329. Now the other one that so I eliminated that one as well. I'm not going to do the Whale, the Crazy Circuits, but I did think it was a nice pedal. It just had a little something that I did not love, and when it was in a shootout with the pedal that I did choose, that one just had everything that I was looking for, and this one was missing something for my ears. Everyone's different. This is just what I've kind of come to. Then the other one that I was sort of intrigued by was this Danelectro. Right away, I do not like the aesthetics. It just looks, I don't know, novelty. Almost looks like something's going to jump out of it. The color of it and just the font. I don't know, looks jokey, novelty, and has this kick pad on the front. That's just kind of, I don't know. It looks a little not to my liking. I don't know. It just looks novelty, and a good price. $142 for a pedal. That's a good price. Let's see what it comes. It comes with a Spring King and make your guitar sound like a 3D movie. Comes with a thick reverb, just the right amount of tone and warmth with the kick pad. So you would kind of like stomp on that to get the boo, that sort of terrible noise that emerges from when you kick a reverb pedal, but it's a cool effect. So, and that's being sold by Accent Gear Music. I should have mentioned who was selling the other pedals, but yeah, pretty good price on those. But once again, the aesthetics were a bummer for me. And I thought it sounded okay, but it sounds a little hashy to my ears. So I didn't go with that one. I think it could be a good choice for someone if you could get it cheap. But I don't know. I didn't pick it. Okay, so the other one that I was interested in, that I wanted to just show you, was some of these Fender Reverb units, just so you can get a grip on what's going on with those. They're expensive. And they're really cool though. You know, it's a Fender Reverb unit, and I like them, and I think I will eventually get one. But cost, size, you know, I'm trying to keep my rigs on the small side and have less stuff to drag into clubs and whatnot. And actually, even though this is only 18 watts, this actually gets too loud sometimes, so I'd like to just walk in with my Deluxe, and having to carry a separate reverb unit that's almost as big as my amp, you know, it just adds to the load out and load in and all that. And here I'm looking at one from the mid-60s, vintage blackface. This would be the one I would want, and I know I'll end up with one of these. I'm just trying to make myself feel better for all the reasons that I'm not going to get it, you know. But they're expensive. And I don't know, it just seems really cool. This would be a perfect complement to my Deluxe. And like I said, I know I'll eventually get one. And this is what I'm trying to recreate in pedal form. But I'm going to stick with the pedal for now. And but those are really cool. And the other one I found was this page here on the gear page. I found a couple of, let me go back and look at those. The Surf Box, let's see, it was the Surf Box and the Z-Verb. And those look very similar to the Fender Reverb units. The advantage of one of those is I bet they sound very similar, and it would be new, and you would probably have like a warranty, and if something went wrong, it'd be easier to work on. But they had some good advice on here. I'm trying to kind of thumb through here. They mentioned a couple of units that this guy actually does a really nice kind of review. And this is sort of what helped me make my decisions, is hearing, my decision was hearing what other people who have gone through this process of trying to find a good spring reverb situation, a tank. This is kind of what they've come to. Over here at the gear page says, I love the Fender unit, but it killed my tone when playing clean jazz. And see how that